Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Peyton, and this account is run with me and my best friend, Abby. Abby is not here today because we live in separate houses. Also, we do not live together. But today, I'm going to be addressing some tea about the Jaclyn Hill Palette 2020. I get all my information from the YouTube channel Tea Spill. I'm so sorry if I'm wrong, but that's the channel I think I get it from. I do not directly remember what channel it was. But yeah, anyways, let's get started. A few years ago, Jaclyn Hill released a palette. People loved it because of how nice the formula was, and because of the pigment of the colors. The original formula was so amazing that Jaclyn signed papers that said only she could use that formula. In Jaclyn's newest update for her new Jaclyn Hill Palette Volume 2, this is what she said.
This is the same loved formula as the Jaclyn Hill original palette, and people ask me about that all the time because they're like, wait, what do you mean like it's a different formula? Because Morphe has their standard formulas and I created my own formula. There's actually been other people who've collaborated with Morphe who've asked if they can just use my formula, and they're like, sorry, that's Jaclyn's only. Like, I signed papers, it's my formula that I worked very hard on a couple of years back to develop. So beautiful. And we also
a YouTuber named Jen Loves Reviews uploaded a video saying why she had unlisted her review from a few years ago on the original Jaclyn Hill palette. Jen explains in her video that her sister-in-law had recently bought the first Jaclyn Hill palette from Ulta, and she didn't really like it. Jen was very surprised, said she used her palette and loved it. When Jen went to swatch her sister-in-law's palette, she realized something was wrong. She reached out to Morphe directly and asked if any changes had been made to the palette formula. Morphe denied and said that the palette may have just a defect and to return it. But if you guys watch Jen Loves Reviews, you know that she didn't stop there. In fact, she went out and bought herself the new version of the Jaclyn Hill Palette 2020 to make sure that her sister-in-law's wasn't just a defective palette. When Jen was side by side swatching the old palette and the new palette, she noticed some changes, as in pigmentation changes. The colors were almost different. If we go back to the email that Morphe sent Jen, you'll notice that they said that the pigmentation in the eyeshadow hadn't changed, but they avoided to talk about the formula. The reason for this is because the formula actually did change quite a bit. Jen did some research and went through the ingredients on the 2017 palette and the 2020 palette, and she noticed quite a few changes. One of the biggest differences is that in the new version, they added jojoba oil, coconut oil, and shea butter. And people had something to say about this. One comment said, it feels like they kept the better formula until it had enough of a reputation for being amazing and then switched to a cheaper formula. I hope that's not the case, but my gosh, it is looking bad. Another comment said, moral of the story, I'm done with Morphe. They're just too shady. There are so many brands out there, and there's just no reason to buy from them. Someone brought up that when Morphe is using oils in the Jaclyn Hill palette, it makes the palette expire faster. I'm shocked that they even decided to add oil. If you've been watching tea spills for a long time, then you know what I mean. But if you don't know what I mean, Jaclyn Hill's lipsticks had way too much oil in them, and so people did not like that. Another ingredient that was added to the Jaclyn Hill palette was carmine, which is crushed up beetles, and so now the palette is no longer considered vegan, which Morphe 1,000,000% should have announced first. When the palette first came out, it was vegan and had no carmine or anything to do with animals in the palette. People think that Morphe should be telling people about stuff like this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a good night. See you guys at the next tea spill.